Kelly is opening up about the culture at that network, the culture when Roger Ailes was at the helm. In her new book, Settle for More, Kelly alleges that in 2006, Ailes tried to kiss her multiple times while asking her when her contract was up, and also writes about how the then CEO would make sexually charged comments, like the time she says Ailes said he would like to see Kelly in the, quote, very sexy bras she must have. She says it went on for half a year, ending only after Kelly told a supervisor. Through a lawyer, Roger Ailes has denied those allegations. Last night in a sit-down interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, Kelly responded to her colleague Bill O'Reilly's criticism that she should have gone to HR and that she shouldn't be bad-mouthing the company. The 45-year-old mother of three told Anderson it's not always that easy for her in 2006 and for others today.
They don't always feel comfortable going to the general counsel or to HR. You got to have somebody, I would say, outside of the company who doesn't depend on the CEO for his or her paycheck, to whom the women, and it can happen to men too, can go to report. And at Fox News, it's very true that Roger Ailes was very much a king of sorts. And this is all laid out in the book in that he had founded the company, he had co-founded the company, and he had loyalists placed throughout the company, and he demanded loyalty. I mean, O'Reilly speaks of loyalty. That is the culture that Roger demanded, that should be placed above all other things. And I would submit that that is part of what created the problem we had for some time there.
Joining me on the story now is former prosecutor and workplace legal expert Robin Bond. Robin, good to have you with us. I'd love to just get your initial thoughts there on what Megyn Kelly laid out as the culture that she says she experienced under Roger Ailes.
Yeah, I think that's a very typical culture. I am Napoleon and all subjects must bow to me. It's not at all uncommon, big companies or small companies. And the point being is, how can you trust anybody there to report, because everybody owes their job, to the king? I think the point is very well taken, that the only way that you can really get the kind of good, objective advice you need is to go outside the company and speak to preferably a lawyer who specializes in this area, to coach you on what to say to HR, how to say it, and how to advocate effectively for when you do report. And Erica, as you know, reporting is mandatory if it comes to a sexual harassment claim. You can't go file something in the courts until you've reported it internally.
And look, a lot of companies, and our company here at Time Warner, we go through extensive training every single year. We know where to go. We're fortunate to say, our boss does not seem to have that kind of control that I've ever noticed. What if you work at a small company, though, where there is no HR department, or if you work at a company where it is disjointed like that, and you can't afford to go to that outside lawyer? What are your options?
Well, okay, the reason I say that is many lawyers who represent individual employees, that this would be an employment lawyer who represents individual employees, will talk to you for free and give you a free consultation. And this is really very good just to get your sense of, do I have a claim? How do I make my claim? What do I need to do to preserve my claim? Just because you talk to a lawyer doesn't mean you're suing anybody or that anyone in the company ever needs to know about this, Erica. So really do give a lawyer a chance to help you. And even if they can't or won't, they might be able to refer you to an agency that can. If you're in a small company, it's probably just as bad of a situation. Some companies have outside ombudsmen, or outside agencies or law firms that you can report to, or an independent member of the board of directors to whom you can report this. Still, I'm going to tell you, anybody who's been in a situation of feeling they're sexually harassed doesn't want to do this without feeling that they have a lawyer or some kind of consultant who is independent of the company to coach them on what to do and how to say it so they preserve their rights and they're able to provide for their family.
So you're saying even if, as Megyn Kelly suggested, even if there is some sort of outside group that you can go to independent of the company, your advice is still, before you do any of that, talk to a lawyer?
Absolutely. I've been a lawyer for many years. I've represented over 3,000 employees, and I can tell you the ones that do the best are the ones that get advice before they put something in writing to HR or before they go on the record. Because if they don't go on the record in the right way, they are not going to be able to tee up their cases the right way.
What's the biggest
misconception? You can have certain feelings about things. Yeah, that's
Sorry,
right. You need to say it the right way.
Yeah, and what's the biggest, sorry to interrupt you there, Robin, what's the biggest misconception when it comes to, let's take, for example, a sexual harassment claim? Because it seems, too, that oftentimes when people come forward, the first question is, well, why now? Or why did they wait?
Why have you waited so long? Right, yeah. Well, there's the biggest misconception that I want people to understand is HR is not your friend. Okay? HR is there to support management and help management run the company. They're not there to advocate for you, and that is a very important thing for people to understand, which is why I am encouraging people to get outside independent legal counsel so that you do present your case in the right manner when you present it. Okay, and that's the biggest misconception. And the other thing is people will say, well, gee, it must have been consensual or you must have agreed to this. And you have to be able to explain that the mere fact that you tolerated it does not mean you agreed with it.
An important point. Former prosecutor and workplace legal expert Robin
Right.
Bond, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Pepsi's stock has now plunged 5%. Why? Because of fake news stories